In this video, we're going to go through a really important part of self-publishing, actually maybe the most important part, and it's all about niching down to find a very low competition and high demand niche that you can first publish your book in. So the title of this presentation is Niching Down to a Low Competition Book Topic with Amazon KDP.
Yeah, cool. So what we're just going to cover today is what niching down actually is and why it's important. We're going to give you guys a few theoretical and practical examples, and then we'll kind of show you how you can actually go about niching down, and then just a few common ways that you can niche down within any category.
So first of all, what and why going niche with your book topic is so important. So firstly, narrowing down and targeting your book at a more specific audience is kind of what niching down is. And we'll get into some really good examples in a little bit. But the most important thing is you're speaking much more specifically to a smaller target audience. If you're too broad, your book won't be found easily. And we can speak from experience for this one. If you try and publish a book topic which is way too broad and you're trying to capture too much of a large audience, because there are other books that you're competing against on Amazon, what you'll find is that your book won't do too well. You'll be confused as to why it's not doing well, and the reason most commonly is because you're not niching down properly. So the third point here is niching down will appeal to less people overall, and this is true, and this is probably a reason why a lot of people, they don't actually want to niche down. And I think we first experienced this when we first started, didn't we? Was that when you're niching down, you kind of feel as though you are kind of losing a potential target market because you're being more specific. But as we said, fourthly here, those who you do appeal to, you'll speak much more directly to them, and therefore be much easier to get that sale because you're being much more specific.
Yeah, exactly. So just a quick example. So you could potentially write a book simply about meditation as a whole, which obviously there are a lot of books out there, but that's almost the point, is there are too many books out there probably. So you would be appealing to a very large audience because of how vague meditation is, because a lot of different people might be going to look for meditation books. So if you niche down to a more specific audience, such as meditation to beginners, you know, like people who have never done it before, or meditation for busy moms, or meditation for men. There are obviously a bunch of other examples that we could come up with here, but hopefully you kind of get the idea. But the point is as we kind of just said, you are ruling out some customers, but at the same time, you're calling out way more directly to a smaller audience. So this kind of just means that you're going to have increased sales because you're going to have a higher conversion rate for those who actually go onto your page, onto your book's page, I guess I should say.
And also, what I also say is that the big publishers, those who have an absolutely ginormous budget, like Penguin, for example, although they probably don't do meditation books, you get the idea. Big publishers, they can do these really broad niches and broad book topics because they have the means to do so. They can, have crazy advertising campaigns where they'll easily be able to get their book ranking on Amazon. But for us, as smaller publishers, we can't afford to do that. Therefore, our skill is going in and actually finding these low competition niches that we can make some good money in. So that's kind of why we're doing it, basically. And it just says down the bottom here, you're ruling out potential customers, and that is very true. You are ruling out some customers. For example, meditation for busy mums. If you are a male looking for a meditation book, or you are a female looking for a meditation book, and you're not a mum, then it probably won't appeal to you. But if you are a busy mum, or just a mum, most mums are probably quite busy, and you're wanting a meditation book, this book will speak much more directly to you than a book just on meditation. So that's kind of why we do it.
All right, so a few important points about niching down. You do definitely want to be careful not to niche down too much. There can be a fine line where you think you're niching down and you're doing a great job with it, and you might be, but sometimes you can accidentally go too far and find something that's a little too specific and not going to have enough demand. So that's kind of the whole point here, is you do need to make sure that what you're niching down into has sufficient demand. So for example, meditation for football players might not be enough demand to actually make it, a valid niche, but something like meditation for athletes might have enough demand because it catches more potential customers, because it's a bit more broad than a very specific type of sport. It's just athletes in general. Also, you want to make sure that your niche makes sense. So for example, a mushroom growing book for women might not necessarily make sense. It's probably something that's a little bit too niche, and those who are looking to grow mushrooms might not necessarily be trying to differentiate between men or women. So just make sure that you're paying attention to what you're niching down into, where, for example, something like strength training for women obviously would make sense, but mushroom growing book for women might not make as much sense.
It's a bit more of a kind of an art and a science rather than just a black and white science for this one. It's about having the intuition and thinking for yourself about what would be a good topic to niche down for, and then backing that up with the sufficient numbers. For example, you can actually look at search volume, and we'll get onto that in the next slide actually, but looking at search volume of particular areas where you can niche down, and to see if that fits with your own intuition about a particular book niche. So that leads nicely onto how you can actually niche down. So there are kind of three main ways that we would go about niching down our book topics every single time we publish a book. So first of all, you can use your common sense. And how we normally do this is we would normally brainstorm around our particular book topic and just thinking of what types of subgroups of people might be interested in your book. So if we use the example from earlier, mushroom growing, for example, we wouldn't think about men or women, but you might think about for beginners or for more experienced people. Number two is you can research on Amazon. So to be honest with you, you would actually use both of these in combination with each other sometimes, but you can also go onto Amazon and then type in the kind of overarching main niche. For example, if we use the meditation niche, we can type in meditation to Amazon and see how other competitors have actually niched down, and get some ideas for ourselves as to how we could possibly niche down in that niche. And then just finally is Publisher Rocket. So if you haven't used Publisher Rocket before, it is a brilliant publishing tool for Amazon. And you can actually use it to find other ways you can actually niche down in a particular book topic. What you need to do is you need to go to keyword search. It has 4 functionalities, and one of the functionalities is keyword search. You can type in your main keyword into Publisher Rocket, for example, meditation, then it will give you other suggestions of how you can actually niche down. So it might then give you meditation for beginners, or meditation for seniors, or meditation for men or women, etc. And actually something else really good about Publisher Rocket, when you're in that keyword search functionality, it will actually also tell you the search volume of all the different keywords that it suggests. And it will tell you how many times per month these keywords are being searched on Amazon. So really useful tool, and really useful information you can use to decide which kind of route you want to go down in terms of niching down. For example, if you had meditation for men, meditation for women, meditation for seniors, and you weren't really sure which one to go for, you can go into Publisher Rocket, you can see the amount of search volume, and obviously you want to see which one has the highest search volume. The more it's being searched on Amazon every month, the more demand it has, and therefore obviously the hopefully more sales you get from that particular niche.
Yeah, I will add one other thing to that as well, though. When you are doing this as well, you also want to be paying attention to the competition too.
Good point.
Higher search volume does obviously mean there's higher demand, but might also mean that there's higher competition. So you just want to make sure you're looking for that sort of happy medium of high demand but still not so much competition that you wouldn't be able to get a foot in.
And how you can look at competition is that you can go onto Amazon. Let's just use that example again. So you can type in meditation for women. You can see the amount of search results that appears, and also check the number of reviews for the books on the first page. Do that for all 3. If one, for example, had much less search results and all the books had much less reviews on them than the other 2, and it had a high search volume or almost comparative search volume, then that's probably the one you want to go for.
Cool. So lastly, we've just got a few common ways to niche down. These are just different ones that you can add on to, honestly, a lot of different categories in book things. So for example, for beginners and for experts, you can pretty much tack that onto any topic. Investing for beginners, investing for experts. What did we just talk about? Meditation for beginners versus meditation for experts. So for women, for men, young adults, young professionals, seniors, athletes, over 50, 60, 70. That's age that we're talking about there. Because they're often, like, for example, in the strength training niche, there'll be a lot of books that are like strength training for those over 50. And these are separate ones. So it's not like over 50 and 60 and 70. It's like one of them. And then kids, teens, or seasonal things as well. So...
And there are plenty of other ways you can niche down. These are just some of the most common ones.
Definitely not exhaustive.
And will work for most niches. So go and use them. Okay, just going to go on to Amazon now, and we've got 3 niches. We've got a low content, medium content, and high content niche. And we're just going to go through each of them and see how each of them have decided to niche down in their particular niche. So first of all, we've typed in colouring book. Obviously, this is way too broad to just publish a colouring book. So you need to think about how you can niche down. So first of all, this book here is doing very well. So it's ranking 314 in books. And so it's niche down by, first of all, adult colouring book. So if an adult was on here looking for a colouring book for their kid, obviously that rules them out. But if you're an adult looking for a colouring book, this will speak much more directly to you. Also, they've actually included what the colouring book is about. So animals, landscape, flowers, patterns, mushroom, and many more. So if you're looking for a particular colouring book about animals, for example, again, this will speak to you. And finally, stress relief. So I'm sure a lot of people who are looking for colouring books are probably thinking about it for stress relief. So that's, again, how they've niched down. This one, again, you can see mindfulness. So a nice kind of buzzword there that will appeal to many people. What have we got here? Disney dreams. Yeah, that's quite nice. And if we scroll down a little bit more.
Calmness.
Yeah, calmness. Yeah. And some mandala patterns as well. So yeah, basically quite nice examples of how you can niche down.
Yeah, so journals, again, journal is super broad. Like there are literally so many different types of journals that you could find, both between, blank journals and actual journals that are like workbook journals like this, like the first couple here. I mean, shadow work journals, so obviously it's to sort of do shadow work and inner healing, I guess, I'm assuming.
And then next here you got Persian Groove Journal. We're just saying actually that we don't think this is self-published because it looks like it's probably engraved in the front, but you can just still see how they've niched down. It's ranking 1400 in books, which is still very, very good. And it's, I don't think I've ever heard of a Persian Grove Journal before. Okay, don't wreck this journal. More shadow work.
The 369, that is actually quite
What's that?
It's about like manifesting stuff. So I've heard that before. I think it's actually something that's kind of getting quite big, but that's just another example of niching down. It's a type of manifestation.
Okay. And then a prayer journal as well. That's a lot more specific than just a journal. And then finally is we're going to go on to our high content niche, which is, we just typed in investing book into Amazon. So what have we got? Normally I just ignore the first four because those are the sponsored ones. We just start down here and how these people niche down. So first of all, let's look at this one here. So rental property investing, instead of just an investing book, again, which is very broad, you got a book on rental properties. You've then got a book on the stock market, which is another area of investing.
And that one's also, it says a beginner's guide as well, which is also niching down.
Beginner's guide, yeah.
How to day trade.
Day trading, yeah. Cool. So you probably do get the idea. So with any book that you're going to be publishing on Amazon, you want to be thinking how you can niche down. So I hope that was helpful, guys. And remember, when you're publishing your own book, make sure you're more specific to a more specific audience. Yeah, awesome. We'll see you next video.
Bye.